Hello. How is everybody this lovely, lovely day? Let me get over here to the comments. Hello, Miss Mary. Hi, Shatika. How is everyone today? I am checking this out, making sure everything's working right. It is. There's a switch. There's a switch. All right. We've got that going. And here we are. Whoops. Okay. And I even remembered, and yeah, that would be fine, Mary. Hi, Cheryl. Sorry, I can't think and talk at the same time. Huh. Videos, live. What's going on? What's going on? Me. Here we are. Okay. Good Lord. Hello, Miss Cheryl. Hello, hello. Let's think on it. And the only reason I'm even hesitating, is, and maybe it doesn't matter. Once we get bingo going again, we'll probably have more activity in the bingo one. And once we get the make-alongs going, which will be in just a couple of weeks, we may have more activity in that one, in the make-along group. I don't see a problem with combining them. I think it might be fun to combine them. Cheryl, what do you think? Or do you think that it's going to be important to keep the make-along separate from the bingo? I don't think it matters. I don't think we get that much activity. But I don't want to get, because I know that we do post a lot of patterns and pictures and things in the bingo one. Maybe not call it bingo. Maybe just call it RWR.
Chevrolet.
What did you say? RWR group. I like that. Let's just call it RWR group instead of bingo. Because I do like the interaction, and I like the patterns, and I like the pictures of people's things, but I don't want to get that confused with the projects that we're working on in the make along. Because I think we've got the one we're doing now, and then Cheryl and I are going to be putting one out in, yeah, I agree. So let's do that. So we'll have the bingo one separate from the make along one, because the people that are involved in the make along are going to be needing the information about the make along. So let's just have those two separate ones, and let's call the bingo one, just call it Roaming with Rover group. Yeah, for patterns and bingos and interaction and pictures and that kind of stuff. And then the other one, the make along. I agree. Thank you for handling it. And I have no idea. So I don't know the whole right, because poor Cheryl, it's midnight for her when all of this stuff is happening. And she's off. It's like 3 a.m. and when we're doing this stuff, and she's getting these ding, ding, dings all the time. We are so lucky that she is helping us. I feel like that's the problem. It's too far away. Let me just bring this a little closer. Not too fast. I don't want anybody getting sick there. That's much better. We're so lucky that she is doing this stuff in the middle of the night to be with us. So I definitely want to do everything possible to make it easier for her and appropriate for her. So we are very, very lucky that I even the other day I put it on my clock, I've got one of those world clocks on my phone. So it's 1 a.m. for her right now. So we don't want to be doing anything that makes it more difficult for her. We are so very lucky that she's here and doing these things for us. Hello. Hello, Mr. Steve. Yeah. Oh, shoot. And now I'm chilly. See, I need my shawl. This is when I need a shawl. And that's why we're doing a shawl make along. And here's my shawl. This is actually a shawl. This is a shawl, y'all. This is a shawl that I made out of the leftover yarn from my Lizzie blanket, but I made it with, and I can never remember the name, where it starts tiny, teeny tiny at one end. It starts teeny tiny and then it goes big at the other end. And I had more yarn than I thought I did. And so it ended up almost too big. And so, because I like rectangle shawls. Thank you, asymmetrical. I like rectangle shawls. So, that is nice and warm. Oh my goodness. And this is a 3-weight. And that's why I decided to make, because my hair is wet from my shower this morning, I decided to make my shawl that we're going to do out of 3-weight yarn was because of this one being a 3-weight. I knew that I really liked that weight of yarn. And that's why I decided to make mine a 3-weight. So of course mine is going to be crochet and Cheryl's is going to be knit. And it originally we were going to be doing the boneyard shawl. That didn't last long. And there were some problems with that. One of the reasons we decided to do the shawl project was because people were getting tired of the square project, this knit square project, because it was just too easy. And then we started looking at the boneyard shawl, and basically we were afraid it was going to be the same problem because it's just rows and rows and rows of stockinette with the occasional row of garter thrown in. And Miss Cheryl and I put our heads together and thought that you guys would get tired of it real quick as well. And so she started looking at it and she's like, well, I'll just tweak this and I'll just tweak that. And next thing you know, she's just created her own shawl. And let me tell you, Steve, you're going to be happy. You're going to be very pleased. Those of you who knit are going to love this thing. Those of us who are afraid of knitting are terrified. She swears it's going to be easy enough for us. We'll see. It is nothing like the boneyard. Plus, if we just did the boneyard, she couldn't help us. She couldn't show us anything. She couldn't do any kind of tutorials. You can't do that on somebody else's project. It's against the rules. It's against the law, actually. That's copyright issues. So with it being her project, she can do tutorials. She can come up live and do stuff for us. So Cheryl, Team Cheryl. So this way, it's too early, Mary. We don't know yet. Probably I'm thinking by next week, we will have all of that information. It's going to start. Let me look at my calendar. We have decided on a start date. Oh, it's going to start on the next. So today is our, I call it a bye week, like this was a baseball game. So this is our bye week for the blocks. So our next bye week, that's when we're going to start the shawl project. And so that is on May 5th. May 5th is when we're going to start the shawl. So by next week, Cheryl is still working out. Let me tell you, there is a lot of work doing what she's doing. And we're hoping by next week. Good morning, Chandler. We're hoping by next week that we'll have enough details that we can give you at least basic information of how much yarn you're going to need. I do have the information for mine, but we'll make I think we'll be ready to make all of the announcements by next week on here. So, and I do, if I'm correct, don't hold me to it, but I believe you'll be able to do her shawl, and hers is going to be a triangle. You'll be able to do her shawl in a 3 or a 4 weight. There you go, Cheryl. You're going to need yarn, needles, and some Dutch courage. Mine, you're going to be able to do in any weight you want. And I'm going to give you some rough, pretty solid numbers of how much yarn you're going to need in all the weights. So, and you can do both of them. You can do one of them, whatever you want. If you want to do a knit project that's a little more challenging than what this one was, go for it. If you want a crochet project that's a little easier to intersperse with the other stuff, great. If you want to do them both, even better. And there's not going to be a deadline. It's not like most knit-alongs where it's like, okay, this week we're doing this, and this week we're doing this, and this week we're doing this. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be work at your own pace. And I know a bunch of people are doing the bag a day knit or crochet along with her beautiful shawl. And so I did not want to put any pressure on anybody that, okay, you're doing that one and you got to do this one and they all got to be done. It's not like that. I've seen some people starting hers. Hers is very intricate. This one is not. And so if you start hers and decide that it was too much for you, you could switch over to this one and use the same yarn. It'll work perfectly fine. No matter what yarn you bought for her project, it'll work for this one. Yeah. So Cheryl's is designed for 3 or 4 weight, but you can use any yarn and just keep going until it's big enough. That's what I like. That is the advantage of a triangle shawl. And that's also the advantage of an asymmetrical. And that was why I did an asymmetrical, because again, I was using leftover yarn, so I didn't know how long it was going to go. Yeah. Anywho, so speaking of knitting, how's your blocks coming? How are your squares coming? Is everybody caught up? Did you get through whatever number we were on? Okay, my envelope's gone. Where's my envelope? My envelope is gone. It's not like I moved that thing. See, I tidied up. That's the problem. I tidied up. My envelope is gone. It is not in my yarn bag. Oh, that's interesting. So hers is kind of going to almost be a sampler, for lack of a better word. And so you can move them around and do them in whatever section you want. She's putting, you guys, she's putting so much work into this thing. So much work. I can't believe it. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. My envelope is gone. You guys have seen. All right, where is it? You guys have seen it. It's that yellow envelope. I pull it out every week. I pull the stuff out. I see what week we're on. I print it out. Oh, is it in here? No, that's the calendar. Oh, for pity's sake.
Did you take it with you yesterday?
I can't imagine why I would take it, because it all has to do with this project, and I would never take that to work. It's a brown envelope.
Yellow envelope?
Yeah, one of those. No, that's something different. I know what that is. Yeah, am I sitting on it? That's a fair question. Since that's how I found my phone that I looked for all week. No, I'm not sitting on it. See, that's why I should never straighten anything up. It's not. I got to look at this envelope. I don't think it is. No, there's nothing in that one. Could you put these somewhere, please?
I wondered what happened to those.
I was eating them. See, because I even tidied up my yarn bag. Oh my gosh. The whole envelope is gone. Well, I don't know where it is. I'll find it later. So anyway, I'm going to be in trouble if that's gone, because it's got all my notes in it. It's got, oh, there it is. Clear across the room. Okay. Yarn Be Authentic. Oh, that'd be party, Mary. That would be beautiful. Okay. So we finished the lattice crust square last time. And if you are keeping up with your blocking and sewing together, then that's what you'd be doing this week. Because I was blocking the squares for Dana's hashtag spring square swap, I had all of those blocked. So I thought, I've got all this stuff out. I may as well just start blocking some of these. So, ta-da-da, look at me being all, I was going to say organized, but you guys know better. I've just proven I am the opposite of organized. Now, I am seeing and can you guys tell? Can you guys tell what I'm going to say here? My squares are not the same size. Even blocking them out, they are not coming out the same size. Do I care? No, not even a little. These ones are pretty darn close. Nope, they're off by an inch. This project has been a nightmare for me. An absolute nightmare. This one's even smaller. And one of the reasons is when I pulled those 2 extra colors of yarn, they're just not working up the same. And they're the exact same yarn. They're the same brand. They're the same company. They are just not working up the same. But that's okay. So I figure what I'll have to do, what I'll do is when I get to putting them together, I'll just do another couple of rows around it to make them bigger. I'm learning a lot from this project, and that's what it was for. If I had been, this was the lattice one. This is the one we did last week. I like that block. So far, this was my favorite block. You can't see it very well because of that dark color. But so far, this was my favorite block. There you go. You can see it there. Do you guys have a block that was your favorite? But I learned on a project like this, you absolutely need to block these things out. They look completely different after they're blocked. Completely different. Yeah. And I don't block things very much, but something like this, especially when you're going to have to connect them together afterwards. Absolutely. So I did grab one to start on the next one. And as you can see, I've only got a couple of inches done. Because I kind of want to get a head start. Anybody who's planning on doing bods, you got to block that 100%. And like Cheryl, that little middle section you showed me, that's gonna, if you don't block that, it's not gonna look very pretty. I always block when I do doilies, because anytime you've got all that intricate work, you've got to block that. Always block my doilies. Anytime you do thread work, you usually end up needing to block that. Oh, are you happy, Kitty? Kitty was over visiting the neighbor. I could see him shooing her away. So next week, we're going to be doing April, the diagonal rib square. Diagonal rib square. And it, like all the others, it's another rib. She must really like ribs, the lady that did these patterns. That's all I can say. She must really like ribs. So we'll get through it. We will get through this. And So those of you who are knitters and who enjoy the knitting process, you're really going to like the break that Cheryl's beautiful shawl gives you. Yeah, I'm very excited for it. And she has sworn to us that those of us who don't know what we're doing, she's going to do some tutorials for the little bit more challenging, which is going to be fun. That's going to be fun for us. And I know two things. I know I have to work on it when I'm not tired. And I know, what was the other thing that I said? There was two things I have learned. I can't work on these things when I'm tired, and I can't work on them when there's a bunch of people around. I can't be watching TV or talking to a bunch of people. I have to concentrate when I knit. Whereas with crochet, I can just watch TV and talk to people and be on a live and doing all the things. Can't do that when I'm knitting. And it really does help to mark off what I'm doing. The tick marks on the thing make a big difference. Made a big, big difference in how things worked out. There goes Kitty. So I just got to pay more attention with the knitting than I have to. Crochet is just more second nature to me. You know, I've been doing it longer. I know more what I'm doing. Not to say I don't make mistakes in that, because I do, but definitely I can give myself a little more grace with that than I can with the knitting. And that is not a secret. That's something I know. And, you know, even these blocks isn't something I could take to a stitch and knit group, which I have found. And there's one this afternoon, and it's just down the road from me. So I'm going to go and join that this afternoon. And I'm thinking I'm going to take, remember I made that sock for Mr. I barely started the second one. So I'm going to take that second sock with me and go sit in on that stitch and knit group this afternoon and go meet some other knitters. I thought that might be fun. Yeah, simple repeats. So like that sock. Oh, hi, Divergent Crafter. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Excuse me. But I thought that would be, because even that pattern, the leg of the sock is literally, what the heck, is literally a rib stitch for 7.5 inches. Even I can do that. Nope, don't want to do that. No. What have I done? So filters, all messages. It always gets that thing. So it's a 2x2 rib. In knit, if you can knit all the rib types, it indirectly helps you. Oh yeah. So, 7.5 inches of knitting rib in the round. I can do that and talk. The only thing is it's magic glue. So I do have to get the rhythm of the magic glue. I found a group about 10 minutes for work. Not sure I want to go in after work. Oh yeah. Just wash up real good and maybe change of clothes. You probably wouldn't want to wear your work clothes after that. Yeah, it does get tiring. It does get tiring. Have you guys done a 3x3 rib? Is that tight enough for a sock? I saw something that had a 3x3 rib and I was afraid. Hello, Miss Shirley. Thank you for joining us today. I was afraid a 3x3 rib would not be tight enough. The yarn store that I go to, my local yarn store. Yeah, just bring a change of clothes. Wash up real well. Bring a change of clothes and put a fresh not a hairband. What am I trying to say? I used to wear them. I used to have to wear it when I worked in the oil fields. A hair, it covered all of my hair, like a scarf, a hair scarf, but they're stretchy, bandana, something like that. Yeah. Put a fresh hair scarf on and, see how you do. Oh, one of those cute bandanas, like the ladies from the 1940s where they would put it up under and then tie it on top. I think you'd be fine. Yeah, put on a fresh shirt and see what happens. That's what I thought. I thought it would be pretty, but it wouldn't be tight enough. Yeah, maybe for a shorty sock, because they don't really need a whole lot of strength, uppiness. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up now. Thank you. Yeah, I'm so happy to see you in here, Shirley. So, yeah, so like I said, this is our bye week. And this is our catch-up week to get caught up with blocking our squares. And if you're sewing them together as you block them, sewing in your ends, if that's the thing that you're doing. And Mary, you're making 2 of each one. Is that correct? Because you wanted them bigger. One by one. Yeah, I like the 1 by 1. Okay, so are you all caught up, Mary, on your squares? Yes, stay uppiness. Exactly. See, I knew that was a thing. I knew that was a word. Okay, good job, Mary. I'm impressed. And so be watching. Stay tuned next week. We should have the announcement of all the stuff that we'll need for the shawl make along, the knit and the crochet. You're welcome to do one or the other or both or neither and just hang out with us. And by next week, it is slow going. Especially if you knit. Do you know what Mr. said the other day? He was watching me knit. And he goes, my mother used to knit much faster than you. Really? Really? Give me a break. So, of course, I threw something at him. Of course. His mother was a very good knitter, very fast knitter, a very good crocheter. Now, by the time she came into my life, she didn't knit at all. In fact, I wasn't even sure that I never saw her knit. I did see her crochet. And then probably the last year of her life, she didn't even crochet anymore. She would, right? He used to crochet. He doesn't anymore. His hands hurt too bad. She would cross stitch. And then when she passed away, she had a couple of cross stitch projects that she hadn't quite finished. And she was making pillowcase sets for each of for the girl grandchildren, one for each of the homes. And so I finished them up because I cross stitched. In fact, cross stitch is my first love, and then crochet. And now I don't cross stitch at all. So I finished them all up and gave them to the grands. And they were so appreciative because I couldn't just give the ones that were finished. I had to make sure everybody got theirs. And they really, really appreciated that. So her daughter, I gave one to her daughter and then one to each of the girl grandchildren. That was really, really neat that I could finish that up for the family. That was a cool thing. But she used to teach crochet. And she would go into, we had a ladies, it was a prison, but it was like a lower level. It was right before they got out back out. And she would go in there and teach crochet. And she loved doing that, loved it. And one of the gals that she taught made her this beautiful blanket, and she had that blanket with her till the day she died. We took it, had it in her room. She lived with us the last few years, and it was either on her bed or over the back of the couch. And then at the end, when she had to go into a care center, that blanket went with her to the care center. And then we donated it to them. There was a little old lady in there that she would go from room to room stealing people's blankets. Like if you had a throw or something like that, she'd go in there and steal. She didn't know what she's doing, but she'd go in there and steal the blankets. So we left that blanket there for her to have. But yeah, she was an amazing crocheter as well. Much faster and much better than me. But, so size 1 circular needles. Wow. Tiny, tiny. That's wonderful. Finish their quilts. I love stories like that. Those things are so important. Oh, that's awful, Cheryl. I have a baby blanket. It was my mother's baby blanket that her grandmother made for her. I'll bring it out and show you guys one of these days. I've got it in my bedroom, but it was quilted, of course, every stitch by hand. And I love that thing. And the edges it was just a simple triangle pattern. And of course the edges are starting to come unstitched. And I should have asked. I was just at the quilt store. I took my sewing machine into the quilt shop yesterday, in fact, just to get it a tune-up done on it. And I keep meaning to ask them if there's someone around that can repair it. I can sew it, but I'm not going to be able to repair it correctly. And I would like to have it repaired correctly. Mr. is going to make me one of those blanket ladders so I can hang like the Lizzie blanket. And if I ever get my flower garden finished, and then I would hang that baby blanket on that, like right here in the corner of the living room, just for those special things, that I want to display, but maybe not use on a regular basis. And then I want to make sure that whoever in the family is going to get that, got to get them passed down to the grands. And I have several like doilies and dresser scarves and things like that my grandmother crocheted that I want to make sure gets it. And we were just talking about this. Those kind of things, not only do they need to get passed down, but they need to know the story of it. And I want to do it now so I can tell them the stories. So it's not like when I die, they see this pile of it. They don't even know where it came from or who did it or why I have it. Yes, several projects, colors of the 70s. Yeah. But those things are in style again. I'm lucky. Most of mine were done in white. And I've got one. Miss Dana and I were just talking this morning. She found a pattern, a square with some pansies in it. And I said, I've got a doily that my grandmother made with those pansies all around it. So, everything old is new again. And so everything that I have is that kind of a style. Red heart. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Yep. Lots of fringe. Oh, funny. My mom, when she first started crocheting, she liked doilies. And she got this book. I can see that book. I can see her sitting on the couch working out of that book. And it was a doily a month for the whole year. And so like they were very one for each holiday kind of thing. And I remember one, can you imagine? She made one out of black crochet thread. I mean, crochet thread to start with, and then black crochet thread. So it looked like a spider's web. And after she passed, my daughter took some of those with her. So she did get some of those. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's super important. You know, these things need to get passed on. And oh, a shadow box. Yeah. We've got it's just a little rack, a little wooden rack with a dowel that you can hang, like you would hang a towel or something over it. And normally I have this baby blanket hanging on that. It hasn't got hung up in the new house yet, that rack. Oh my goodness, that's amazing, Shirley. No, my mom, we both basically learned how to crochet. Well, my grandmother taught me how to crochet, which is funny that no, I do get it. I was going to say it was funny my mom never learned, but my grandmother had 6 kids, and so she was busy raising kids. And so I don't know I don't remember seeing any of my aunts ever crocheting or knitting or doing any of that kind of stuff. But my grandmother's the one that taught me how to crochet, so she knew how. And then down the road, I was already out of the house, and my mom and I would go take crochet lessons and knitting lessons. So she did not learn that stuff until I was grown up. So it was kind of interesting. Interesting how that evolved. Okay. So does anybody have any questions about where we are in the project? What we're doing next week? Speaking of Miss Amber, it just popped up to go visit Miss Amber. Yeah, I can't do very, very simple patterns. I can kind of look at and go, oh, that's how they did that, but not usually. I got to have a pattern for everything. Oh, that's amazing, Mary. Yeah. Yeah. We drug home from Oklahoma 2 quilts in great big black garbage bags. In fact, I've still got them in the garage that need to be, I think all they need is the edging put on them that my grandmother started. And I can remember dragging them through the airport, these garbage bags with quilts in them. It was something else. Yeah, I've got them folded up and put in bins outside. I need to dig those out and figure out what to do with them. Again, I need to take them to that quilt place. When the time is right, you'll be able to do it. And it'll be even more important to you. It takes a while for that stuff to not be painful anymore. And at some point, the pleasure of getting it finished up will be more important than the pain of the memory. It'll ease the pain. Absolutely. Good morning, Miss Janice. Okay. So everybody knows what we're doing next week. All right. What did I do with it? Here it is. You guys, I am losing my mind. So next week we are working on, we're going to start the diagonal rib square. This is our week off, so we don't have to knit anything this week. Next week, we're going to start the diagonal rib square. And that's a cast on of 32. And next week, in theory, I believe we will possibly have the official announcement of the make along for the shawls. We will be, I think that's kind of that's our goal, to be able to have all the information that you need. We'll be able to tell you the yarns and all that kind of stuff. Depend on how Miss Cheryl's design work goes this week. And the start date for that is going to be, what did I say? May 5th? Cinco de Mayo, May 5th. Okay, Cheryl says we're on track for that to happen. So next week is the official announcement, and then you'll have plenty of time to get your supplies together. You're not going to need that much stuff, but you'll have plenty of time to get your supplies together. And we're going to start May 5th. So we'll show you all the things and be ready to go. And I will have a major announcement. Major life announcement. Yeah. So hopefully we'll have a video drop about that by Friday. Might even do the announcement in my Finish It Friday video. That would be a good idea. So watch for that in the Finish It Friday video, but there'll be a separate video as well. By the way, and you heard it here first, and I know there's not a ton of people in here, but Tuesday morning, oh, I'm so excited. Tuesday morning, 7:15 Pacific, don't blame me. We have a special guest. We are going to have Miss Krista from My Secret Yarnery is going to be our guest. And we had to work around her schedule. And 7:15 in the morning Pacific time is 5:15 in the afternoon her time. So that's what we did. We need to have a good showing for this. So we're going to have a live, and she's going to come on here and talk to us. So very, very excited for that. I'm setting up the thingy right now, and I was doing it right before this started. And so be looking the thumbnail. I know the thumbnail it'll have her picture on the thumbnail, so you'll be able to see. So set your reminders, set your timer. Don't miss this one. This is going to be a good one. It's been a long time since we've had a guest like that on there. Yep. That's a nice time, Miss Linda. So we just, excuse me. It was right place at the right time when we connected with her. And, that was the time she offered us, and we jumped on it. Miss Dana will be on there as well. And we're going to try and get Miss Amber. Now, my schedule shows that Miss Amber is coming live with me in half an hour for our stitch and visit. She is on the way to the hospital again with her mom, so she's not going to be with us. So it'll just be me. And I just feel so bad for her mom. She's having a rough go, but fingers crossed. I know that Amber is just over the moon with excitement also to be involved with this. And of course, Dana, it always depends on what's going on the truck. But hopefully I will be here no matter what. And we need to have a good showing for her. So in fact, what you guys can do that will really help is once I get that thing posted and you see it, you can share that out on your channels so people know that it's coming. Oh, good, Cheryl. So once you see that, and it'll be up today, I'll have it up in a couple of hours. You can share that share it to your channel, put it on your community page, And that way, let the people in your world know as well, so that we can get lots of people pop in for this, because we definitely want a good showing for this. It'll be embarrassing if we get her up here and we only get a handful of people in watching it. So we definitely want a good showing for that one. Okay, I'm going to end this and get a fresh cuppa and get something that I can work on while I talk. I know I've got ends to sew in, and then I think I've got the sit and visit scheduled for 9:15. Let me double check. So you guys all know what the project is. Thank you so very much, Shirley. You guys all know what the project is for next week, and we will. Oh, I know, Cheryl. And I'm sending her the link today. Okay. Let me just double check what time I've got this next one. Yes, I've got it set for 9:15. So about half an hour. Yeah. Okay. We'll see you guys in about half an hour. Bye-bye. Get your project in your cuppa and come back and sit and stitch. See you in a few minutes.